Hello, this is Joshua Petty from Pure Storage. I'm the Director of Product and Solution Marketing for Pure as a Service. And today we're going to be talking about digital self-service, the future of storage as a service. So let's dive right into it with some of the trends that are driving this. Now, even before the global pandemic and the economic headwinds that hit as a result of that, most analysts were predicting that by 2021, the majority of enterprises would realize that as a service offered them some benefit, whether that is storage as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, or infrastructure as a service, as provided in some of the bare metal providers, as well as the hyperscalers. Now, there are some pretty clear reasons for this, and we did a lot of research with some of our analyst partners to determine that when we talk to CIOs and IT leaders, what they're really looking for is guaranteed outcomes. They want clear alignment to what is the end state versus what is that going to cost, and that needs to be a predictable cost. Also, the ability to consume as you go or pay as you go allows them to save a lot of capital up front and reinvest that into the business to accelerate other modernization efforts around things like AI and ML. IDC predicted, following on to some of the earlier research that we had done, that by 2021, there would be a 3x demand increase. And a lot of that is the result of events of 2020, people dealing with shrinking capital budgets, and also growing needs around remote workers and other systems running very lightweight STaaS in data centers. All of these things pointed toward the value of consuming as a service. And the prediction from IDC is that 50% of data center infrastructure over the next 3 years is going to be consumed or operated as a service. Now, what is the overall trend as we're talking about digital self-service? The things that attract customers to as a service tend to be the things that they get in the hyperscalers: cost transparency, simplicity, operational efficiency, to quote Susan Middleton there from IDC. But that hyperscaler experience, for all of the operational benefits it provides, it also really shines with regard to self-service, being able to select the products, services, and quantities that you need, the duration of the contract that you're willing to manage, and very straightforward pricing and cost around that. So when we built Pure as a Service, we wanted to take the same things that the hyperscalers are delivering around economics and improved operations and layer in that cloud customer experience. Now, let me dig into this just a little bit more deeply. If we start with cloud operations, with any kind of storage as a service, or certainly with Pure as a Service, there's an installation component that should be part of the service. There are ongoing management services and upgrades, things like expanding controllers, expanding capacity, and also alert monitoring. Those are all things that you would expect from a hyperscaler. Now, moving into the economics, that's kind of table stakes now for pretty much every major storage vendor playing in the storage as a service market. It needs to be offered on demand when necessary, with service tiers that are very clear and easy to understand and be recognizable as an operating expense. But the thing that we're really focusing in on today is that cloud customer experience, particularly digital self-service. Again, with Pure as a Service, we set our North Star with hyperscalers, and as a result, we ended up with a very easy to use, very cloud-like platform that can exist in your data center or in other locations. But it gives you the consistency that you would expect on-prem, even if it's across hybrid cloud. It gives you the ability to set policies around management, just like you would with a hyperscaler. But the thing that we're going to focus on today is self-service, the ability to put more control, even in a managed or partially managed service, into the hands of the IT staff so they can be as agile as possible in the field. So let's get into real briefly what Pure as a Service is, and then we can talk about the self-service aspects and how those kind of mirror some of the trends that we're hearing from analysts around customers wanting that hyperscaler experience. With Pure as a Service, it's block, file, and object in locations that matter to you. That can be on-prem, in a hybrid cloud, in a managed service provider, or in the public cloud. And Greg Schultz is going to present a demo on the agenda as well covering what it actually looks like with Azure. We'll get into a little bit more of that a bit later. But Pure as a Service is fairly unique in that it is a true subscription model. It's not a lease, but also Pure, when we started crafting an as a service or a storage as a service model and building out the digital self-service components of that, we really had two advantages or compared to a lot of our competitors. One is that evergreen technology, the ability to non-disruptively expand controllers, add disk packs, even contract an array without ever asking you to take the application offline, basically making sure that you can deliver the SLAs that you're on the hook for with your stakeholders. That non-disruptive evergreen enterprise technology allows us to behave as a hyperscaler. So if you need more, we can put that proactively on the floor for you so that you can seamlessly grow into it without having to forecast. So that's one of those things that gives you the scalability that you would expect in the public cloud. Pure One is our AI-powered operations tool that's available to all of our customers. It allows you to do monitoring, management, and fleet management as well for multi-site, multi-array environments. The interesting thing here, though, in talking about digital self-service, is that we're proactively monitoring this. We're analyzing all of the information that we get from all of the Pure arrays around performance, saturation, and bringing all of that intelligence together. And with Pure One's AI engine, being able to predict well in advance when you're going to need it, when you're going to need more capacity, when you're going to need more performance, predicting that weeks to months in advance. So that you never run out of capacity or performance. Now, when we take that scalability and elasticity that you get natively from Evergreen and from Pure One and put them together, what you end up with is a cloud experience. So for us at Pure, the question is, how do we create more of a digital self-service experience in this kind of environment? So there are a couple of different things that we did. One is the service catalog that we introduced last November. The service catalog breaks our two services, block and unified fast file and object, into multiple performance tiers mapped to, rough application or workload mapping. So what that does for you is it allows you to very easily kind of visualize, okay, how much of my spend and need is going to be in the capacity block, how much is going to be in premium block, how much is going to be in premium fast file and object. So this gives customers the ability to not just buy a price per gigabyte or price per terabyte at a fixed rate with a lot of constraints around the performance. The granularity here allows customers to self-service and basically figure out if I only need to expand my Oracle online transaction processing, then maybe I'm going to boost my premium block service, but I am not going to touch the other services. So it gives you that granularity to really be able to adjust to what the business needs. Now, I mentioned Pure One briefly a bit ago, but Pure One is our AI ops, AI management and monitoring interface. What we did is we took those service tiers and services that you just saw in the previous slide in our service catalog and built them into Pure One. So if you're a Pure customer and you decide that I need to go from 50 terabytes of block premium to 100 terabytes of block premium, you can actually look at that, visualize it, and then request that additional capacity all through Pure One. So it is very much a self-service digital experience. Now, once you make those subscription changes, again, through Pure One, you've got the control to be able to see and manage all of your licenses, all of the capacity and performance that you subscribe to, and place that capacity and performance in locations that matter for your business. But again, it's not a managed service in the sense of an outsourcer. So, Pure is managing all of the storage for you and you're requesting tickets to provision volumes. None of that's the case. So with Pure as a service, we can place it in the location that matters to you. We will do the proactive monitoring of the device and take care of any hardware, software upgrades that need to happen. But when it comes down to it, you still have the controls so that you can self-service not only in the products that you select, how you purchase them within Pure One, but also down to the operational level. You have a complete self-service environment, including APIs for our developers. So let's talk briefly about the economics of it, because that also plays into self-service, because financially, the cost structure is also a bit self-service. Let's look at on-demand as a primary usage model. So Pure monitors and adds capacity to the Pure as a service environment when it hits somewhere between 75 and 80% full. We're always going to maintain, that 25 to 30% headroom on top of it, so that if you need to grow, you have the ability to do that. Now, I'm going to build this slide out. You can notice the orange line there would represent what a customer is actually using over time. This is 36 months. It's actually a 24-month contract. That will come into play in just a moment. But that on-demand usage, we measure it 3 times a day, and we bill our customers 3 months in arrears. So every quarter, there's a statement for on-demand usage. Now, you can also see all of this usage on the reports that come out, because we're going to provide every Pure as a Service customer with detailed reporting on what the measurements were, what the usage was over time on any particular day, and then how that translates into their rate. But that orange line is the capacity that's actually being used. The black line here represents what we're maintaining on top of your actual usage. So you don't have to oversubscribe, you don't have to overpurchase, overbuy. Instead, you can just grow over time and know that we are going to add the performance and capacity necessary to meet our service level objective for that particular tier. Now, on demand is billed at a standard rate. Again, this is where we start getting into the self-service piece of the conversation around costing for Pure as a Service. But that on-demand capacity is billed at a standard rate because we feel like if you like Pure enough that you want to use a bunch of it, then you should be able to do that without us punishing you for it. So it bills at a standard rate, just like a hyperscaler for on-demand usage, but also just like a hyperscaler, if you want to have a reserved instance or pre-purchase, you can do that and the cost structure changes. So in this case, if you want to commit to a particular amount of capacity and performance, you know that that's going to last for the duration of your contract, then you can commit to that and purchase it 3 months in advance at a discount. The initial floor is actually 50 terabytes for block, file, and object, with the exception of our block capacities here. So that is something that I just wanted to make you guys aware of. We lowered that recently. But you can raise that reserve rate at any point. So what you're getting across the term is, as you know, an amount of capacity is going to stick around for a while. You can raise that reserve and pre-purchase that additional capacity at a discount and raise that again at any point, so that you're now self-servicing your cost per gig. You're being able to take term-based discounts and also volume-based discounts. And you have the control of how to set either the term or the volume so that you can spend, an appropriate amount of money for your budget. So it's all about, the customer experience, whether that's a customer in finance or a customer in IT operations or a storage admin. It's all about providing that self-service experience, being able to self-service how I interact with the gear, being able to self-service how I subscribe to it, and then finally being able to self-service how you pay for it. Now, it brings a lot of operational benefits as well, as you would expect from a cloud solution. One is that because we have this breadth of offerings within the service catalog, you can support containers, converged infrastructure, VDI, enterprise applications, even things up to like SAP HANA, as well as having the elastic availability. And I know the topic for today is resilience. And this is really where cloud technologies shine, because you've got somebody else making sure that security patches are done. You've got someone else making sure that the lights are on and any alerts are addressed. So you've got local resilience. We have the ability with Pure as a Service to consume all of the data protection and business continuity solutions that are available from Pure, including things like Active Cluster, so that you can replicate between sites, or you can even push data back and forth into the public cloud. But that's where the resilience comes in of adopting a cloud model, because now you're not locked in, your data is mobile, it's portable. In many cases, somebody else is taking care of data protection for you. So all of these things combine to create not only a resilient model, but something that is very self-service. Now, here's a quick look at how this works in a typical kind of, disaster recovery or continuity scenario. So we have Pure as a Service here on your prem data center. We have it co-located or hosted in an MSP, and then we've also got assets that are in the cloud. This could be your Azure instance. As I mentioned earlier, you can use Active Cluster, Async Replication, Purity Cloud Snap. Because you have a single control plane across all of these, you can use all of these Pure services between them to make sure that you've got the most resilient environment. On top of that, again, you've got the power to be able to control, even in a Pure as a Service environment, how you set up replication targets, snap intervals. All of that is still completely in your control to self-service, but it provides a very simple path to full resiliency for you. So the final thing that I'll talk about here is the cloud customer experience. This is where that self-service really comes in. It makes infrastructure really simple. It allows our customers to be a little more free financially because now they're in control, not only whether they're spending via CapEx or OpEx, but also how much OpEx they're spending and how much are they getting at a discount versus how much is being paid on demand. So it gives our customers a lot of control. On top of that, it gives you a great experience because you're buying an SLA or a service level objective, not a piece of hardware. So it's very easy to say, if I'm doing SAP HANA, this is the particular service and tier that I need. And I know that that's going to be successful for me. And I know that Pure is going to elastically scale that up or down as I need it. So it gives you a great customer experience while maintaining the ability to self-service and giving you that data protection that you're looking for. So just to wrap up here before hopefully you find your way over to Greg Schultz and the demo of his hybrid cloud resiliency exercise. What Pure as a Service does is it gives you block, file, and object in tiers. So you get that granularity that you select only what you need and only for the duration that you need it. It gives you the ability to, via unified hybrid cloud, place any amount of that capacity on-prem or in the cloud in a single unified subscription. And then finally, it gives you all of the tier 1 features that you would expect from Pure. Things like the resilience that you're about to see, or things like Cloud Snap and some of the APIs that our DevOps teams love. So finally, with Pure as a Service, you get true OpEx. You get an all-flash performance for your all-flash data center. Scalability, elasticity, and as always, it's a Pure product. It's all built on our Pure storage arrays and software. So you get the same reliability that you would get in a traditional purchase. So with that, I would like to thank everybody for the time. I'm glad you guys could come out to the event today virtually. And hopefully I can meet some of you in person before too long. But now I would hope that you would find your way over and check out the resilience demo with Pure as a Service and Pure Storage that Greg Schultz has for you. So have a great day, everyone.